my God. Isn't this beautiful? I am... Hello everybody and welcome back. We are here today in real life for once because it is time for me to finally give you guys a tour of our studio space. So this is the space that I've been working on for a little while now. Now it's not massive, but in terms of what I'm using for, it's pretty huge because it's essentially just a house for playing video games, and it's great. It's fantastic for that. But that's enough talk. We're also going to be doing a desk transformation because I've been sent quite a few things and it's time for some upgrades. This thing is looking awful. So we're going to be doing that as well today. So I hope you guys are excited, but that's enough. Let's just jump into this. Let's do it. Okay, here we are in our actual space. You can see we have lights going on over here. Now I actually do need to get some more lights because this isn't quite enough in terms of the lights that we need. But we've got 2 lights going on, which has been just enough to get by with. And then we have our tiny little desk that's been going on here. So this thing has gone through a few upgrades so far, but nothing massive. Today comes the massive stuff. But before we jump into this, let's go ahead and take a spin around and look at everything else that's been going on. So over on the other side of the room, you can see we have all this extra space that we're gonna be turning into sort of a lounge area or a couch co-op setup area. So we might actually have some people over and do some videos with that method. I'm not sure what exactly yet though. And then we're also gonna be setting up t-shirt printing and other sort of stuff like that. And we'll get some of this set up today to make it look a little bit better. But you can see everything looks kind of new, it looks kind of fresh, it's looking kind of good, and it looked awful about a month and a half ago. I'll go ahead and show you guys a few pictures of what it looked like a month and a half ago. It was a mess, a complete mess. It was disgusting. But after we put in a whole bunch of work on the walls, repainting everything, putting in stuff in the ceiling, and making it all look good, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy. And then one last thing. So you might notice with the desk, there's not really a computer anywhere around here. So the computer is actually following these cords, and it's up there in the ceiling. I wanted to keep it entirely out of the way, so I've put it up in the ceiling, and the only cords coming down in the entire room are coming from that thing right there, which are coming from that outlet over there, which keeps everything nice and tidy, which frankly I just absolutely love. I hate having cords everywhere, and with the VR stuff, I already have enough cords, so I don't need more of that. Okay, so now let's take a look at our desk here. You can see I've kind of got sort of a mess of things going on. We have our old wireless Logitech keyboard here. This thing has done me well for about 2 years. It's done the job. It's not a fantastic keyboard. I definitely wouldn't suggest it, but it was cheap and it was wireless, which is what I needed at the time. But this thing actually just died on me, as well as half the things on this desk. So it's kind of fitting time for me to get some upgrades because this thing no longer works. So we're gonna get rid of that. Ow. And then you can see we have our old gateway monitor. This thing is also now busted, but I've used this for about as long as I've used that Logitech keyboard. Basically since I got my YouTube rig is when I've been using this thing from. And it's done alright, but this one is now also broken because I dropped it while putting in the floor. So, I won't push that one over because it's gonna be too loud. And then for stuff that isn't broken quite yet, we have our mouse, which is starting to break, but it's not quite dead yet. But this is a Mionix mouse, and I use their mice basically exclusively, and they actually sent us a new one, as well as a new keyboard because they're super nice today, and we're gonna take a look at that in a minute. But I've sort of busted this one up, and you can see it's pretty worn out at this point. But I use this mouse exclusively because it fits my hand really well, and it just does a great job, and it's really sleek and nice looking, so I just love it. And I've been using that exclusively for about 1.5 years or 2 years now, which is pretty great. And then we of course have our AT2020, which has stood the test of time. I've burned through one of them, but this one's held out for a while now. And then I think that is basically it for the desk. We do have a standing desk, which I just put in. You can see before I was using a different method of making the desk stand, which was not the most not the cleanest looking method, but it worked for the time being. But now we actually have a standing desk which will rise with us, which is fantastic for when I'm doing VR stuff or just recording in general, because you can see I have my camera mount set up right there just above the desk, so the desk comes up to meet it, which is fantastic. So I'm super excited about having this as well as everything else that's come in today. So let's jump into the Mionix stuff now and see what they have got in store for us.
So this is the care package that Mionix was kind enough to send us out today. You can see we have quite a few things here to get through. So we'll start out with the Mionix Way. This is a mechanical keyboard with cherry red switches. It is obviously RGB. That's very important for this. It's got a very solid base to it and a great rubber feel to it. I absolutely love this keyboard. It's definitely the best mechanical keyboard I've ever owned, but it's also the first, believe it or not. I'm a little bit too cheap, but you can see it's beautiful. So there's all these different effects you can put on it, and the lighting is gorgeous. Now, on to the mouse. This is the mouse that I use exclusively. I absolutely love this thing, and this is actually a better version than the old one that I used. This one has a bunch of awesome features. It obviously has the RGB, and it even has a heart rate sensor in it, so we might use that in the future. I don't know, but we'll see about that one. And then it is obviously built for the ergonomic design. It's very comfortable to use in your hand for extended periods of time. That's why I personally love it. Now, moving on to the last but not least item, we have our desk pad. This thing is water resistant, it's beautiful, and it matches our theme perfectly, so I'm super excited to add this along with everything else. So let's go ahead and start building this desk.
Okay, so now that we have our desk ready to go, ready to transform, I think it's important that we catch everything else up to the Mionix stuff. So we have some serious work to do before we're ready for the keyboard and mouse to come out. So let's go ahead and start probably with the monitor. Since that thing's completely busted, we're gonna have to get some new ones of those. So let's work on that one. Okay, we've got our new monitors. Not too bad, but obviously we're gonna need a stand for this, and we need to clean off the rest of this. So let's just wipe down everything, build ourselves a nice stand for these monitors, and then we will be set up with a clean slate to finish the rest of the desk. I'm pretty excited. Let's do this. Okay, there we are. Not too bad. So you can see I have a little clamp holding it on there. The mount is really just built out of plywood. It just takes a few minutes to build, but it looks pretty nice and it blends in rather well with the desk. So I'm pretty happy with that, and it did save a lot of money because monitor mounts are very expensive, and I kind of like the look of this better. I'm going to be able to use this obviously to put stuff on, which is a nice addition, and it just looks like it's part of the desk. So I'm pretty happy with that. But let's get the monitors on there. So that looks pretty solid. I'm really happy with this setup. Frankly, it's more monitors than I've ever had before, and I feel a little bit like a security officer just sitting in front of this many screens. So we'll see how it goes. I feel like it's gonna be awesome using this. But I think now that we have that, we're basically ready for the Mionix stuff, and then also we need to get some speakers, obviously, just a few final touches that this thing needs, and then get this hooked up and ready to go. I'm pumped. Let's get those. Alright, first we have our Shark mouse pad, desk pad. Oh my gosh, that fits perfectly. Okay, I was a little bit worried about that because it's pretty large, but it fits perfectly. Look at that. That is pretty beautiful. I'm pretty happy with that. So it's not quite done yet. We obviously have a few more lighting additions to make, and we need to add in our speakers, but it's just about there, and then I can show you guys off with some sweet clips. So let's go ahead and put on the finishing touches. We gotta add those speakers in, and then add the RGB, and then we have this beautiful background. Of course it's Sea of Thieves, because it's one of the most beautiful games that we've seen in a long time, and it just makes for such a wonderful panoramic view. I love it. I love it so much. Let's get those last touches in here so that we can see what this thing looks like all put together. Here we go. So I switched up the background because obviously we had to go with the blue, because for those of you who've been watching for a while, you know that I absolutely love blue, and we can set all of our stuff to be blue, and our mic already glows blue, so why not blue? Blue's perfect. So here it is. We've got all the cables pretty well managed. You shouldn't be able to see pretty much any of them. There is one running under the table, going to a light in the back just to add some special effect to to it, but other than that, we're looking pretty solid on the cable management. In the back, it's not quite perfect, but that's gonna be covered up soon anyway, so we're looking really good, really good. So let's go ahead and dim the lights so you guys can get the full effect, because this thing is incredible. Oh my God, isn't this beautiful? I'm amazed. This is incredible. I didn't think I'd ever have a setup like this, honestly. I never thought it would happen because frankly, I don't like to spend a lot of money on setups, but this really wasn't all that expensive, and Mionix helping us out with this awesome stuff just made it look all that much better. So it looks incredible. We need to add a few little things, I think, to make it perfect, and then it'll be done. And I just love it. I love it so much. It's so clean, it's so beautiful, it's wonderful. I love it. All right, there we go. That's much better. We now have our Bendy, we have our Boris, we have our Alice, the neighbors there. We've got the whole crew in for the show. It's looking beautiful. So now that we have our actual desk setup finished and it's looking beautiful, I think it's time that we set up the rest of the room real fast, because you might have realized earlier that we have some extra stuff just laying in the corner over there that's should be out and about, because we really need to finish this room up. So let's go ahead and throw everything together real fast. We'll do one last tour now that it's finally finished, and then we will call it a day, but you guys better stay tuned. Okay, everybody, we've got it all finished up and looking nice now. Check this out. So we brought ourselves a TV out here. We've got ourselves a nice couch. We've also got a few stools. We've got more stools in case we need them. We've got a nice carpet that we brought in now. And then we've got this shelf loaded up with all of our junk that we still need to get undone. And of course a box. And there is our beautiful YouTube play button. Now I'm gonna mount that thing up so it sits up properly, but it sits pretty nicely right there. And then of course we have a TV for any sort of couch co-op stuff we might want to do in the future. So that's all hooked up right here, and it'll go right across that. I'll probably work on fixing up those cables a little bit because I don't really like having them hang like that, but for the time being it will do. And then the most important part, of course, is our VR setup. So we have our VR stuff down here. All those cables are kind of a mess right now, but we'll get them fixed in the future. We have our Vive and our controllers, and then this beautiful thing, this beautiful brand new thing is coming later this week. This is the brand new Oculus, which they just sent out to us. So I am super excited to show that off to you guys. We'll be showing that off here later this week. So get excited for that. And then finally, we have our last rug and our beautiful lights and our green screen. And that basically concludes our setup. It's beautiful. I love it. It's fantastic. I can't wait to get to work with all of this stuff. It's gonna make life so much easier. It should help make the videos even better, especially having like this chill area where we can just go and relax after recording while the videos render up. It's gonna be super nice. I'm super excited. I love this space. I'm super happy with the way it turned out. And the before and after in it is kind of absurd with all the work that we put into this place. It's looking great. So I hope you guys did enjoy this setup video. A huge shout out to them for sending out the keyboard and the mouse and the beautiful mouse pad. I'm super excited to be working with them. Hopefully we'll do some stuff with them in the future. If you want to check out any of this stuff, there's links and information in the description below. I'd say it's definitely worth looking at, especially their mice. I use their mice exclusively. I can't use anything else. It hurts my hand now because I've been using theirs for so long. But if you guys have any suggestions for things you think I should add to the setup, leave them in the comment section down below. I'd love to do more videos on this in the future as we continue to finish it up and add more awesome stuff in here. But I think for the time being, it looks pretty fantastic, and I'm really happy with the outcome. So I hope you guys did enjoy. I think it's looking great. Thanks for watching.